I started my next project on my 2007 BMW 525 E60. I'm going to replace the AC compressor and the water pump. So while I'm already in there, I'm just going to do both at the same time. I started at the back and worked my way forward. The back, I removed this firewall piece, which is down behind the back of the engine. There's two bolts on either side of it that hold it in, and this plastic clip thing in the middle. It's a little cumbersome, but once I pulled that out, as you can see, you have access to the AC expansion valve. So you can access it from the engine compartment here, following the AC lines. It's a little tight, but it is accessible. Then working my way forward, I removed the metal hood latch metal piece, and then below that is this plastic piece that covers the radiator and the condenser. Took that out. Next, I then took out the fan shroud. Fan shroud is literally just held in with two hooks on either side. You can lift it right up. Just remove the hoses from the clamps that are on the fan shroud. Also on the fan shroud, to remove it on the right hand side, the right hand bracket, you can actually, it has a lever, just move it in and you can lift it right out of the radiator. So I removed all that to get that out of the way. Next, I'm going to remove the expansion valve to give me easier access, and then I'm going to go in and remove the compressor and water pump. I also drained out the radiator fluid as well. Okay, I was able to remove the AC lines, which I have over here. I'm gonna flush those out. I also was able to, in the back here, remove the pressure regulator for the AC. It's a little tight, but I was able to get it removed. The top bolt removes the two pipes, and then there's two number 3 hex bolts that then you can pull it out. It's a little tight. I had to remove the O-rings from inside there as well. It's kind of hard to see down in there. And then I flushed it out. So to flush it out, I purchased one of these flush kits off Amazon, hooked it up to my air hose, and then same thing, here's the nozzle. I was able to, like I said, it's pretty tight, but I was able to get it back in there to flush that out. I also just removed the AC compressor from in the front there. You can kind of see it's removed. I took out the belt, took out the fan shroud and so forth. Then next I'm going to remove the water pump, which is right there. Put some new hoses on. I also have my bag of O-rings. Make sure to always put new O-rings on when you're putting it all back together. I've got my new pressure valve. I'm going to stick in there now. I jumped ahead a little bit. I put the AC lines back in, as you can see here. Connected those in. I didn't show the actual video because it's fairly straightforward. Put the back firewall back in. One note on the driver's side, just make sure it goes behind. There's a couple metal pipes, put it behind there, and I put the vent control back on. And then down here I put in the new water pump right there. Got the new water pump in, put in some new hoses behind, and the thermostat. Put in a thermostat. So I attached the thermostat in the water pump before I installed it on the car here. Water pump, so I got all that in. Same thing, it's fairly straightforward. As long as you have access from underneath the car and above, you can get that in. Next, I'm going to put the AC compressor on, which goes obviously right above there. I've got the AC lines ready to go. And now I finished putting in the new AC compressor, which you can clearly see right there. Same thing, as long as the fan shroud's out of the way. It was pretty easy to get that in there. I moved the hoses out of the way. I haven't connected any of the hoses up yet. The one thing I had to do was take the 2 bolts out of the thermostat housing that's attached to the water pump. I just needed about an extra 1/2 inch to get that AC compressor in. One important note, I have the old AC compressor down here. You do have to remove this attachment off the old AC compressor and put it on the new one, or else the pipe's not going to fit. Right here, just have to take that screw out, and this little piece here needs to go on the new compressor. Okay, I was able to get that little bracket attachment attached to the side of the AC compressor. Now I'm going to put in the new condenser. I order offline, and it literally just slides right into place. Move that out of the way. Oh, hold on. Sorry for the video. There we go. There. And I got the attachments, and that's literally it. Just literally slides right in. I'm gonna hook up the AC lines and then hopefully start the vacuum. Okay, the other thing I want to do is add the PAG oil to my compressor, and I just have to get it. Probably gonna have to use 2 hands for this. I just gotta slowly pour it in. It's about 6.5 ounces. Got to make sure if there's any PAG oil already in the compressor or not, but I believe it's about 6. Then you want to rotate the compressor some, get the rotate the compressor, get the oil flowing through it. I put the expansion tank back on, connect up the rest of the hoses, and I just filled my BMW antifreeze mixed with 50-50 with water. I used distilled water. I got it pretty close to the top, but now I'm going to run the water pump, what BMW recommends to help get all the air bubbles out. I also attached a battery charger to help so it doesn't drain the battery while the water pump is running. What they say to do is put the heater on full heat, put the fan all the way on 1, put the key in, push start, make sure that's all the way down. Put it on full heat, and then hold the gas pedal, push and hold the gas pedal for 12 seconds. The water pump should start. Yep, there it is. There's the symbol. So the water pump is running. I'm just going to, and when you push the start, do not put your foot on the brake. Do not start the car. Simply just put it in auxiliary mode. Let's see, let me check and see if it's still running. Yep, I can hear it. I need to pour some more water in there. Some antifreeze. Yep, I can hear it running. Check for leaks. Yeah, it's definitely cycling through. I think it runs for about 10 minutes. Okay, I ran the water pump for a few minutes. I'm gonna have to add a little bit more water. I just put in back in the fan shroud. As you can see, it goes in quite easily. You literally just can lift it up and out. Just made sure it was in the loops below. Connected the hoses to it. Then the next piece that goes on is this plastic shroud. Make sure the hose is out of the way. There we go. All right, got that in there. I'll connect up, put the screws in there, then I'll put the top hinge piece, and then we're all set back together. And then I'm gonna finish up with repressurizing the AC system. Now I'm vacuuming out the AC line. So obviously I have the blue connected to the low pressure, I have the red connected to the high pressure, and the yellow going down to the vacuum pump off my handy Amazon purchase. That's going to run for at least 30 minutes. So I've got it all opened up, vacuuming out, and it is running minus 30 on the pressure gauges. And what I also did was I closed each of these two valves, turned off the pump, and let that sit for 30 minutes too, just to make sure it holds the pressure, which it did. So now I'm doing the final vacuum pressure, getting all the air out. Okay, I just finished charging the system, but what I did was I made sure and closed the two valves. Then I disconnected the vacuum. Then I attached the R134 canisters. Actually, I just picked these up at Home Depot. Attached them to the yellow cable. Turned on the car, put on max AC, and then I opened up the blue low pressure to allow the R134, the Freon, into the low pressure side to go through the compressor. Do not keep the red closed. It's very important. You'll cause a lot of damage to your car and yourself. Keep the red high pressure closed at all times. Only open the blue low pressure to allow the Freon in. I have a little bubble indicator to let me know that Freon was going in. This gauge set came with a release valve. So when you connect a new canister, release the air and make sure a little bit of Freon's flowing out, or else you're just putting air back into the system again. So blow out any extra air that was in there, so it's just pure Freon going in. And I used, they say between 26 to 28 ounces, so I used 2 cans and a little bit. I just had to gauge it, the third can, a little bit, still about 3/4 full. Turned off all the valves, turned off the car, and turned off all the valves, and then disconnected the system. And then lastly, this is just for information only. If you're not comfortable with recharging your AC system or messing with the AC system, by all means take it to a air conditioning certified mechanic, and they can help you with it. They can recharge it for you and so forth. because it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing or opening the wrong valves. And the hood is closed and the job is complete. Make sure you give yourself enough time for this job. It took me probably 4 days of working on it on and off, several hours each day at least. It takes some time. And like I said, I did skip, through some parts of it, just showing you my process that I went through, not necessarily the specifics. So this video is for information only, to give you some idea of what is involved with replacing the AC compressor and the water pump. All right, thank you.